Hello everyone, I am D-Mind, the mind of one and all, and welcome back to another episode of Phenomeno. So in the last episode, we moved out of our house, our haunted house, only to have the countdown following us, and then now we are meeting Krishna. Well, we already met Krishna in university, but now we know who Krishna is. And she said we are trying to communicate with the other side, but it's not like we did. We just moved into a house, then we moved out of that house, but oh well. Alright, as long as we don't look, they can't see us either. Wait, who's speaking? Alright, as long as we don't look, they can't see us either. You can have interest in the occult, it's natural and unavoidable, or people to have interest in things that are little understood. Oh, she's talking about us trying to contact Yoshi, is it? Still, the other side has the other side's business. To them, not being able to see does not count as an excuse. Even if you can't... Well, I guess they put the spacing wrong. Even if you can't see them, humans have enough power to be able to feel them. This is eerie, then immediately understand that there's something you can't see and pay due respect. In the face of a stern look, I, the fool, could understand. So basically, I've been possessed, I asked tearfully. At this rate, you're pretty screwed. Her expression became even sterner and I froze. Krishna. Said a woman. See, I wouldn't know who said that. Krishna? Said a woman in white clothes, she had no makeup on, and held a strangely shaped rosary in her hand. It's already gotten a bit inside. What? What inside? Can you pull it out there? I'll try. The two of them finished their conversation. Wait, Krishna, who are these two? I asked as I tried to escape from the strong monk. Investigators for Ikaigabushi, answered Krishna bluntly. Investigators? I'll explain later. Just shut up and stay still. It's no use. It's not use? I think it's no use. It's no use, the host isn't here. I heard a female voice from far away. We have to go to that house. You're right. The middle-aged man and Krishna's voice also echoed a bit. I don't know who's talking. That's why I said there's need to put names like Krishna ... You're right. So I know who's talking or something. The middle-aged man and Krishna's voice also echoed a bit, like a record that was losing some speed. I began to slump down. The monk was strong, but that wasn't the only reason. It was as if I had never noticed that I was on the verge of toppling over under extreme weight. And as soon as I realized that, my body senses frantically tried to show me the level of exhaustion I felt. I felt that sort of exhaustion, one that tried to sink me into a bottomless pit. You can't move? Then don't move. Krishna said in a mysteriously kind voice. Yeah, we didn't know who's talking. And then I lost consciousness. To be honest, I don't remember much after that. I think I was loaded into a car. Wow, the story just suddenly keep moving on, like, I don't even know what's going on. Well, I think I get the idea of what's going on. We've been possessed, Krishna somehow figured it out, and then he's trying to cleanse us, I guess. And then I think there was a lot of shaking. My consciousness came back because I felt a familiar sense of cold on my skin, one that seemed to want to wring me dry. My body was still heavy and my consciousness felt like mud, but my life instincts seemed to shout, this place is bad. When I came to, I was in front of that house. The middle-aged man was carrying me on his back, climbing up the stairs to the second floor. No, I don't want to come here anymore. I wanted to shout, but in reality I couldn't even move my fingertips. Not caring for my will, I was carried forth by the middle-aged man and stood in front of the entrance to that house, alongside Krishna and the white-cloaked woman. Krishna easily opened the door. I thought I locked the door, but it opened without a key. Inside glowed an ethereal light. Who? Said Krishna sharply. I forced shut my resistant eyelids. No, I don't want to see. I didn't care who was inside. I didn't want to deal with anyone. Deal with it anymore, I think. I give up. I decided right there and then, if I were able to wake up safely tomorrow, I would go straight back home to Shizuoka. In the end, it was impossible for me to live alone in the demonic city Tokyo. I wanted to turn around the fortunes of my family business and came to Tokyo to study for it. But I'm too much of a wuss to live alone. I'm better off living in the rural area surrounded by family and friends. My father and sister who opposed my decision were right, after all. Mother supported me, but I felt apologetic toward her. But I tried my best, but these happenings, I couldn't expect them, and I could do nothing. Come inside and close the door. I think that's Yoshi. Someone said from inside the house. I recognized that voice, cold, clear, but somehow decisive. Yep. If you want to know what's to happen, then you should do that. Right, this voice. Yoshi. My whisper echoed through the silence. Yoshi? Yoshi's lackadaisical voice was saying... lackadaisical voice saying good evening overlapped Krishna's incredulous voice. There was a spare key near the sewer entrance below, so I used that to come in. Let's go in. I don't know who said that. Okay, that's Krishna. At Krishna's voice, the middle-aged man entered the foyer while carrying me, and then he took off his shoes and continued to the living quarters. Krishna and the white-clothed woman followed behind. When I looked past the middle-aged man's shoulder, I saw Yoshi, already sitting in the middle of the empty living quarters with a candle inside an empty can. The dim light came from that. Couldn't she just turn on the lights? If the lights still work. Who are you, and what are you doing? Wait, maybe that's Yoshi. Who are you and what are you doing here? Oh wait, that's Yoshi. Yeah, it sounded like something Yoshi said. But she did say Krishna. I mean Yoshi, that her name was Yoshi. Who are you and what are you doing here? Krishna sounded as if she was scolding, but Yoshi answered lackadaisically again. Quiet. If you brought that person here, then you too already understand what's going on in this house. Yoshi, I see. Krishna groaned. You are Yoshi. You are the child posting on Ikai Gabushi. Yoshi continued her silence, but Krishna clicked the tongue and continued. I have no problem with you having interest in the occult, but having interest and actually tiptoeing the edge is different. You should realize that you're playing in a hazy boundary. No worries. Yoshi flatly responded to Krishna's hushed tone, and Yoshi looks creepy as ever. I have confidence only in that conviction. Wow, she's undeterred by this angry Krishna. This is why ghosts are scary. My big sis was scary too when mother snapped. She was scarier than father. However, Krishna sounded a bit lonely. I know. I've seen children like you before. That's why I say it. People who harbor expectations from the depth of the darkness, they always drag humans into the darkness too, even if they don't mean to. That's extremely dangerous. The middle-aged man slowly let me down from his shoulder and laid me by the wall in a sitting posture, and I had nothing to do but listen to their conversation. My powerless body felt like it was being dragged about, and I could only feel an endless sense of helplessness. What happened here, what's happening here, and what's about to happen here? Everything was off the rail my life had been following. I could do nothing here. All I could do was listen to the creepy conversation and be an observer to a creepy act. However, more than the desire to learn the truth, my desire to run away was stronger. As soon as possible, I wanted to go out into a bright place. Krishna. Wait. Okay, the monk. Krishna. Just then the monk stepped in between the two. It started. Along with his words, that sound began again. Crap. From somewhere in the building, that sound echoed. Wait, it's gonna leave it in a cliffhanger cause the third chapter was never published. Scratch. Alright. As if overpowering everything, only that sound echoed. Scratch, scritch. Something was grinding together. Something was carving together. The sound was the loudest I heard. It was almost as if something was trying to crush this place from outside, and I frantically looked around. I was completely in tears and only the creepy sound filled the world. Please stop, forgive me. As I started tearfully screaming, Yoshi said, "Wonderful." A happy voice entered my ears and I became enraged. Wonderful? Are you insane? It's beyond insanity to sneak into a house with a ghost milling about using a single candle and just sit there. Ah, I get it. You're that. You're like a friend of ghosts. Then great. Can you tell your friend to stop scaring me? I'm sorry for barging in on your house, but I didn't know. I cleaned up after myself and left, so stop bothering me and go away. I mean, tell the friend to stop following me to my new place and giving me a countdown. I don't know what sort of grudge they have against the world, but I'm completely unrelated, so stop, tell them. Of course my body wouldn't move and neither would my mouth, but I begged Yoshi with my all. However, Yoshi didn't understand my feelings at all. Hey, scared? I heard an inexplicable, hopeful voice in my ear. It seemed Yoshi had come right next to me, but I couldn't open my eyes, so I screamed at her with my soul. Of course I'm scared. I'm super scared. My body will move and I don't get it, and some sound is echoing through my head, and only psychos and ghosts are around me. Right, this house only has psychos now. A psychotic administrator that gathers and edits creepy articles, a psychotic woman holding some bizarre weapon despite being of age, some psychotic baldy who seems to only have muscle. Wait, what? I didn't read. Yeah. Backlog. Where was it? Yeah. Some psychotic baldy who seems to only have muscle building. Yeah. As your hobby, and you, a cover in black, straight frontal hair psychotic girl. And there's some douche ghost that never shows itself but does annoying pranks like cough numbers. Seriously, cut that shit out. Are you all just enjoying your emergency offline meeting right now? You're all just waiting for me to pee my pants, aren't you? Hey, come on, cut it out. I was wrong. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to see those numbers anymore. Next is 1. And then what? What's next? I don't want to know. I mean, if you're going to kill me, just do it. Stop cornering me and shit. Oh wow, he's speaking out. And... however, at some point the sound had stopped. My dark world, with my tightly shut eyes, had become filled with silence. What happened? I became worried that everyone had left, but I was also afraid that if I were going to open my eyes, something else would be there. Still, I couldn't just stay like this. I was tired. I began to feel reckless. If you're gonna kill me, kill me. I don't want to get cornered and hunted like this. Just give me a bad end already. I opened my tearful eyes, but I just saw a house. Unchanged from before. And everyone was there. Krishna stood in front of the door to the bedroom. The white-clothed woman stood in the middle of the living room, with her eyes closed. The monk lingered by my side, and only Yoshi was looking at me, with no emotion. Everyone was standing at the same spot they were before I closed my eyes. I gazed with my teary eyes at Yoshi's eyes, and then she nodded. And then she looked down. I followed her sight to my feet. 1. It's 1, definitely. It's definitely, yep, 1! As if cutting across the space between my feet, a thick wound had been carved into the floor. Ugh! I screamed and put my sluggish body away, but my hip wouldn't respond, and so all I could do was flail in place. However, I tried to scramble away anyways. You know what's coming. It was 1. 1. The end. I'm tired of this. I wanna go home. I wanna go back to Shizuoka. Calm down, Nagi. Okay, that's Krishna. See, I do not know who's talking. Sit, Krishna. At some point, she started calling me Nagi, but I didn't care as I tried to call away. I was too busy trying to feed from the number. Now, what's the point of staying here? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen to me? Get a grip, Nagi. Krishna sounded again. God damn it, it must be the monk. Some heavy impact struck my back. And after that, the white-clothed woman said something I couldn't understand. It was filled with strange rhymes I never heard before. Countless words that made me head go insane. Yeah, it made my head go insane. It made my head, I think. Meetings? Yeah, meetings. Okay. But then as I frantically flailed about, a long black skirt blocked my way. Yoshi. It was Yoshi, dressed in obsidian as always. Move. Wait, I said move. Move. I said with a trembling voice, but this time it was not glass beads, it was not glimmering, but rather this time Yoshi had a fascinated look as she reached out with her hand. Give me that. That? What you're holding? That. She said and I looked at what I held in my hands. That was the key to the apartment. It was a key I left in my pocket. I was holding it backwards and on the end of it was wood. You'd been doing that yourself? Oh yeah, that would make sense if you carved it out yourself, but you were possessed, so... Huh. And at the end of it was wood. For a while I didn't know what it meant. And then the wood fell off onto the one that had been cut ominously at my feet. What? No way. No way, that... You did it. Ah, so it was you. Yes. Yoshi said in a whisper. The one that was carving numbers into this house was always you. And why she's staring at me with those eyes? Oh, I'm creeped out. With those words, my consciousness was filled with white. In other words, it was a schemer. It was an evening roughly 5 days later. Krishna was talking to me in the B club room at the university. Or rather, a reverse schemer. That house makes people uneasy. Krishna and I were facing each other in the room under the light from a pretty dawn. The house makes people uneasy? I repeated like a fool and Krishna nodded. In the past, Ikai Gabushi investigated similar places too. The structure of the building causes changes in the human psyche toward anxiety. There are actually a number of them around the world. Some of them turn into murder scenes, and others turn the people within into criminals. There's no actual scientific proof for the relation, but I'm of the opinion that they exist. People's minds, after all, are hazy things that you can easily manipulate into leaning one way or another. Wait a second, what exactly do you mean? Basically, that building wasn't built for people. I felt something like a cold hand gripping my heart. It wasn't built for people. I'll avoid saying the name, I'll avoid saying the name here, but the architect of that building had actually received architecture awards during his time in university. People had high expectations of him. Krishna was illuminated by the golden sunlight, and her straight black hair glittered as she spoke in resemblance. He was supposedly a very serious person. Maybe too serious. He was the type of person that wondered what buildings are, and he would lose sleep pondering that. He loved the joyful faces of the landlord so much that and worked. However, he realized the futility that arose when one person asked him for another design, as he saw the house he put blood and soul into be demolished in the name of renovation. Families changed, preferences changed. It's unavoidable as long as you're living, but he couldn't take it. If you take care of it while living, it will last over 100 years. Sometimes people should suit themselves to the house. He left those words and is said to have vanished from his atelier one day. His family put out a search request, but no one could ever find him, and some years later he was effectively declared dead. That was over 30 years ago. The atelier was his final work, and had at some point been dubbed the house that grants wishes. Maybe he's underneath the staircase. So they can't find him, and Yoshi did see there's a meaningless space under the stairs. He's dead under there, maybe? Krishna pointed out the third floor window toward the residential district. This country tossed aside countless traditions along with its Meiji-era cultural revolution. I'm of the opinion that one of those traditions was the house. Tiled roofs became scarcer of the years, and buildings that housed several generations became rarer. Mass production, mass consumption, that was the era we entered. We weren't inheriting treasures anymore, believing instead that you could reset life every few decades. After all, that sufficed for supply and demand. But I think things that were important to the people of this country faded away more and more. After I heard her words, I thought, my father was saying the same. It takes 30 years to grow a single sturdy tree, and yet the Japanese lumber industry found itself in danger of going out of business in the face of cheap lumber being imported. It wasn't that he was worried over his job, he was afraid that the idea that you could get an unlimited amount of cheap wood would become ingrained in the minds of the people of this country. In the past, people would pray to the gods of forests, would cut trees while offering thanks, and carefully built houses with them. Whenever they were rebuilding, they carefully tried to reuse the wood whenever possible. Even on this earthquake-riddled island, Horyuji had remained standing on for 1,000 years. The skill of the carpenters who understood the finest details and characteristics of wood in the day were of course amazing, but they also say that the graciousness toward the important offerings of nature was just as important. I always agonized over having been born into a family whose business dealt with lumber. Did I take care of buildings as I grew up? Did I ever think about the feelings of those who created the building? I was filled with emotions as I wondered if a day would ever arrive that his wish would come true. Within this grand city where every day you could see the sights of reform or reconstruction. According to Krishna, everything originated from the design of that house, which contained the intent of the architect. When an architectural friend of Krishna took a look, they noted that while it looked simple, it used extremely high-level techniques. They said that the groaning of the house was to give it durability against hurricanes and earthquakes, along with a bit of playfulness to deliberately make it groan. The meaningful, I thought it was meaningless. The meaningful space under the stair is the center point of a sturdily built house. The kitchen, which gets abused the most, was deliberately omitted. The living quarters were deliberately designed to interfere with daily routine. It was certainly a house constructed for durability. Oh, that's Krishna speaking. Krishna mumbled as she pushed her red framed glasses up. Normally, houses should revolve around the inhabitants, but not in this case. People naturally begin to feel like the house was built for something other than themselves, and that was enough to psychologically rattle people. So what happens when a boy who just recently come to Tokyo, who has no friends, decides to live there? So in other words, it had nothing to do with ghosts? Indeed, they are much more mentally fatigued than you probably realize, having moved into a city alone. You may have felt fear at first, but you probably tolerated it. But eventually you reach a limit, and then what do people do? Krishna looked at me with her big eyes. They create a reason for escaping from fear. Creating a reason? Yes, they create a reason for the sounds. In other words, you are subconsciously carving numbers into the walls of the house at night. Great, so we're insane. But I was speechless and Krishna leaned closer. Well, not exactly insane, but you know. Think about it, Nagi. Where does fear come from? It comes from the unknown. That's why people learn. They research inexplicable things to escape from fear. People's knowledge was born from effort, devoted to escaping from fear. Cooking developed out of the fear of starvation. Clothing developed out of fear of external temperature. And buildings and weapons developed out of fear of enemies. Everything began from human fears. You thought there was an inexplicable sound at night, however no matter how much you searched the house, you couldn't find a reason for the sound. Of course, you have to know that the house was deliberately designed to make sounds, but you had no way of knowing. Then what do? You were cornered, so you created a reason for the sounds. In other words, a reverse schema. Is that even possible? No, it had to be. Otherwise, how would the number 4, yes that's 4, have been carved into the back of a shoe I've been wearing all along? I was wearing it, so it had to have been me. My lower body was trembling. It terrified me, the wonder self that acted irrespective of my will, or rather that I didn't understand myself. Well, Krishna sat back down and sighed. It was partly my fault for leaving a building like that alone, even though I knew it existed right near me. Sorry. She said as she bowed her head, which flustered me. No, stop that. It all started with me being greedy because I wanted to skimp on living expenses and then immediately move out. Please raise your head, I frantically said. It was your fault, she nodded. There are no shortcuts for granting wishes. I could give no retort and just groaned. However, I realized there was one question that hadn't been answered. Wait, then why were the numbers counting down? And then Krishna shook her head, saying, who knows? Huh? You don't know? I asked, and for some reason her big eyes glimmered with amusement. I don't know, but I think you probably carved a cross on the wall. A cross? Not 7? Right, wait no, 10. Blah. Right, the number 10. It's possible that it might not have been meant to be a number to begin with. Wait, that wasn't a 10. Was that? I thought it started from 7. It probably didn't matter to you. Your fear was alleviated by carving anything into the walls to act as the source of the sounds. However, this is why this incident came forth. A little bit of coincidence. On the place you carved that was from the start. Oh, pure coincidence. A scratch. Oh, I see. Subconsciously, you remembered where you carved 10. Yet when you woke up, it combined with the original scratch to create 7? Yeah. And that was what gave birth to something else inside you. A ghost. So that's why I felt an incredible amount of anxiety when I first saw that number. The feeling of having encountered something far beyond my threshold, that I could not reason out. After that, you continued carving letters into the wall in accordance to the sound you heard after sleeping. The countdown was probably because of your subconscious desire. If the numbers went up, it would continue forever. You were probably hoping that it would eventually stop. After that, Krishna had a bit of a mischievous look. But you're quite simple. If the countdown ended, you may have ended your life. I'm glad we made it on time. And with that, she showed me a soft smile for the first time. Alright, if you had enough of this, don't enter the world of ghosts out of curiosity. And as with living people, pay respect to our existences. That's the main motto of Ikai Gabushi, after all. And the Krishna who said that with complete seriousness matched the image I had of Krishna the person. Although she had a more moe character appearance than a big brother or father. Really? And with that, the complex tangled thread had been solved. According to Krishna, she realized that the building caused anxiety in the psyche of its inhabitants the moment I made my first post. In an effort to keep it under wraps, she had left it in Karashi's hands, but Karashi was pretty careless to begin with, and then became drunk, so the important message had not gotten across to me, which is why things had escalated to this point. Really? In any case, everything was solved, so that was good. I'll give you a warning though. As I was leaving the house, Krishna had told me. don't seem to have much tolerance for this area. Maybe I shouldn't be saying it as an administrator for an occult site, but you shouldn't delve into the occult genre too much. Find friends in Tokyo with whom you can bond, get a girlfriend, and construct a proper solid identity while you dabble in the occult as a hobby. That's the right way to do it. Especially, avoid that girl named Yoshi. We are not going to, are we? I mean, it looks like we're not going to. Which sounded about right. As Krishna said, Yoshi was abnormal. She was, to put it frankly, like her feet were planted firmly on the other side. That was probably why those urban legends popped up over her odd level of concentration on the paranormal. The sunset was extremely beautiful as I stepped out of the west wing, the clear orange color showing straight to my soul. Dang. I became easily moved by this incident and almost came to tears just out of graciousness to its peacefulness. I hung on, willing myself against crying. There were a lot of students about, and feeder high school was just on the other side of the gate to the west wing. There was a number of high school girls going home too. I didn't want to embarrass myself as a university student. But then, I realized one of them was staring at me. Her black hair was pretty, and she had white skin and was slender. Her uniform figure was blinding, and just by standing she looked like she was from a different world. Yoshi? Wait, what? I eventually realized that I recognized that girl and couldn't restrain myself from running to her. She just told you to avoid her and now you're running to her. Great. Wait, are you Yoshi? And then the girl turned her glass beads like eyes to me. Hi, Yoshi. Wait, so you were human? I thought you were a ghost. Oh no, you were human, but yeah, like they said, you were completely obsessed with the paranormal. But I think this is a good place to end it. So, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at DMindGaming if you have enjoyed. And I hope to see you again in the next episode.